Last week we took the week off to play Wolfenstein Youngblood, and what a piece of shit! Right off the top,
Yeah.
I'll just say it. What a piece of shit! Now we know why it was cheaper, why the development time wasn't very long. It was just trash. It was funny. There's funny parts, and we're laughing at it, but like this did not need to be made. It's not a fun co-op game.
Yeah, I'm pretty blown away by how much I fucking hated that game because in 2019 it takes quite a bit to sort of push me away from a shooter, especially a co-op shooter. But right away I was just like, I'm not really feeling this, and I'm like, it's probably going to get better. It's a Wolfenstein game; they're fun, and just everything about it just turned me off. Like I just hated pretty much everything about it. It was weird playing it with a controller, like on a console. So that was his own thing, but like I could get over that. I know how to play a shooter on a controller. But then the characters were awful because you're basically playing as what is it, Soph and Jess, which are the daughters of BJ Blazkowicz, and they're just awful fucking characters.
You okay? I think I'm fine. Oh my god. Oh my god, I got his brains in my mouth. Water, give me water.
And so I hated them immediately. And then the gameplay of just these bullet sponge enemies and sort of adding on this sort of almost Deus Ex like hub world where you're constantly going in and getting quests. Like, why do you need to go back to home base to get quests? Like, why can't you just pick them up somewhere else or get them from a menu? Like, there's no point in going back to your home base for anything. You just go there to pick up and turn in quests like it's the tower in Destiny. And I mean, the guns just didn't have the same punch and impact that they do because the enemies were like all bullet spongy. And then they layered on this other like weird shield system where certain guns are better at taking off certain little shields of enemies. And I'm sure I would have learned it if I would have kept playing it, but it's just very confusing. Like if I'm dumping entire fucking rounds of shotgun into an enemy, like I want them to die. And it's just, I don't mind the bullet spongy type games like, Borderlands or Destiny, but it just didn't work here. Like you couldn't even do the stealth stuff, Like normally you could just like crouch around and like shoot somebody in the head and take them out. And this one's like you're gonna have to shoot somebody probably 5 or 6 times. So unless you can take them down super quick with those few headshots, it's like the stealth was just pointless.
Yeah, and you start off with a skill that makes you invisible for like 10 seconds. So every single time we go into an area, we're trying to stealth into it, and within like seconds, it has that alarm. It's like, and it's like it's on now.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Oh, you fucked us that time.
Sure did. Well, it's going down now.
It's all now.
Everyone's getting knifed.
And we just got to a point where we just went in guns blazing every time. Like, fuck it. We're not even going to try. Like, the only thing that would one-hit people were the knives or the hatchets. You could, like, headshotting somebody did nothing. You try to, like, shoot the stupid, like, flying drone in the air, and you shoot it, and it didn't die, and it sets it off. And it's just stupid. It reminded me of Warframe, where it was just, like, we had these procedurally generated levels, and you just go in and you complete a mission, and we just throw a bunch of people at you. And you just go in, you get experience, and then you get out, and you level up your character, and that's it. And you just like you put mods on your guns, you buy different skins for your guns. It's bare bones. Like the game loop is stupid. It's just I don't know. This game should have been made like 15 years ago, and it would have been okay. But today, it's like a complete like free to play piece of shit, basically.
Yeah, and then the worst was like the monster closet bullshit that constantly happens because it's kind of like Destiny, where you're kind of moving back and forth through these same areas, and the enemies always respawn, and so you'll be in a gunfight and you'll be taking out people, and then all of a sudden, fucking 5 guys spawn right behind you, and so now you're getting just like fucked constantly by like spawning enemies. The respawn rate is like way too high. Like there was like very little downtime between like clearing an area and more people spawning in. And Like you're always just like, where did this guy come from? Where did that guy come from? And it was just so fucking annoying. And just the layered on, like they expect you to sort of grind a little bit and like take all these pointless side missions. Like that's where they were sort of getting away with saying, well, this is technically the longest Wolfenstein game we've made. And me and you both knew before we went into this, like something's up because, like I said, it was cheaper. And, they did cool stuff like giving you the buddy code. Like if you buy this game, you can have a friend that can download like a free version of it and you give them like a code. We never actually did it because I ended up renting.
No, it would just be I'd invite you into it.
Yeah. So that was cool because you can just like both people don't need to buy a copy of the game. And so you're seeing all these things before the game came out and you're like, something's not right here. So there's gonna be something off about this game. And yeah, it just did. Man, like fucking. Even though this is made, these games are made by different people, but man, Bethesda's games are just starting to like fucking become like a controversy now. Like it started with Fallout 76 last year and stuff like that. It's like they're trying. I appreciate they're trying different things with some of their franchises. And like at the end of the day, like this is not a terrible game. I just didn't like it, but like man, what are they doing over there? I mean, because this one was like partially made by Arcane, which does the Dishonored games, and you kind of got a little bit of that flavor where you're kind of moving through the environments and you see little secret passages and stuff like that, multiple routes. But I mean, this is just like, how hard is it to make a compelling co-op shooter in 2019, and you fucking failed to do that, and then you tarnished the sort of good will you've built up with the last two Wolfenstein games, which are fucking amazing with this shit.
There's no story like worth seeing in this or anything. Like it did. Like I praised the last two Wolfensteins for the story and how much fun they were. This does not do fuck all for that franchise at all. And what sealed the deal for me is when we were doing that raid. So for the viewers, basically I think there's 4 or 5 raids that you can do. And there's these things called brother towers. And each tower is basically a raid. And you have to be like a certain level or at least be strong enough to tackle it. And we did this raid and we got to the final boss of it. It took about 45 minutes. And it was just insane. There was just like lasers on the floor that would change, and then this huge robots like attacking you, and then there's shit flying everywhere. So it's super hard. Like Zyzer and I were going down every 2 seconds, like getting each other back up. And eventually we died. And what happened was we were just put back right at the beginning of the raid. There was no checkpoint. There's no nothing. It was like you're gonna have to do that whole 45 minutes over again. You kept the XP that you had, but you have to do the whole fucking thing over again. That was it. I was like, I'm done. Uninstall.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm the one that kind of fucked us in that last fight because we almost had that guy down.
I didn't want to say it.
No, I totally. I mean, there's video proof of it. You can go watch it on our YouTube channel. We streamed ourselves playing it the first couple of days, and yeah, it was me that totally fucked it. I was so worried about the boss and trying to figure out what those levers were doing in the middle of the level. Like I thought they had something to do with the boss fight, and so I kept like not paying attention to the fucking lasers that were hitting me, and then I was getting hit by the fucking boss, and yeah, I totally botched that. But
I picked you up like 20 times.
Yeah, but even still, it was just like, holy fuck, we're gonna have to do all that again. And I just wasn't enjoying the combat. Like I said at the top, man, like like how hard is it to make fucking shooters that feel good in 2019? Like I just wasn't enjoying the shooting. Like I said, a lot of it was the bullet spongy aspect of it. But I just, the weapons lack their punch that they have in a normal Wolfenstein game when you fucking beef everybody up with these fucking huge health bars and shields that don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that's the same problem I had with the Division franchise. It just doesn't work. Like the Division is like a great game. It's fun, but I didn't like the bullet sponge aspect of it, especially when the game's trying to be somewhat realistic. It's just
yeah,
not
so
fun.
It doesn't bother me as much in that game. But yeah, it's just it didn't fit here, and this is not what I wanted. I just wanted a normal Wolfenstein campaign, go through linear levels, just run through with a buddy. And like I understand that having 2 people would make it easier, but I figured they would find a better way to sort of offset that difficulty than just making everyone a bullet sponge and having these fucking terrible shield mechanics on top of everything else. And yeah, it's just this whole thing was not what I thought. I thought this was like a shoe-in for this like a easy, fun co-op game, and that's not what it turned out to be. I've seen a lot of people out there that like it, and that I think we're kind of on the lower end of people out there that are saying this game is shit, but I just don't. I don't
Low
like
standards. Fuck me.
Yeah, I guess
Hitler's rolling in his grave.
Yeah,
Unless he's still alive, we don't know.